Good morning. First of all, we've heard of the floods in Western Europe, so if you've been affected, we'd be glad to know how you are, how things are getting on. So today's episode might be suitable for this sort of thing because more and more people are going to be affected by climate change. And I'm taking this today from Matthew 5 verse 7. Happy the merciful, they shall have mercy shown them. Now, to illustrate this, I'd like to go back to the time of King David. Now, he had become king over Israel and might have relaxed a little bit in his standards. But for whatever reason, he committed a serious sin with Bathsheba. In order to cover this sin up, he had her husband killed in a time of war. So the Lord sent Nathan the prophet to David to say to him that what he had done was so seriously wrong. David realized his sin and repented. He was cut to the heart, and amazingly, Jehovah forgave him. But there were consequences. Jehovah said, "You have struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and you've taken his wife for your own." And he said, because of that, the sword will never be far from your own house. And also, I will stir up evil for you out of your own house. And sure enough, some years later, Absalom takes over the kingship. He has many followers from the Israelites, thousands in fact. So it gets to the point where David and his faithful followers have to run away quickly. They have to drop everything and just run. And they go to the other side of the Jordan, to the east of Jordan, to Gilead. Now there was a man, a very rich man there, named Barzillai. This is in 2 Samuel 17, by the way. Now, he was very rich and he had a lot of friends, and they could easily have said to David, look, this is your own fault. If you hadn't sinned, you wouldn't be in this mess, so we're not going to help you. But that isn't what they said. They said to themselves, oh, this army has been hungry, tired, and thirsty in the wilderness. So they gave to David mattresses, rugs, bowls, crockery, wheat, barley, roasted grain, beans, lentils, honey, curds and cheese, sheep and oxen, to help them with their difficult situation. So for us today, there's a lesson there. Do we judge how people get into a mess? If someone comes to us and says, look, can I borrow a cup of sugar? Do we say to them, you should manage your money a bit better than that? Well, quite possibly they should. And, if you're wise enough, you will find a gentle way to help them with it. But basically, you just go and get the sugar for them. The reason being that if we ever find ourselves in that situation, we too would be grateful for a bit of help. Now, if you don't have any sugar, that's a different matter. Now, I'd like to quote from Benson's commentary on this matter. Now, it was written a long time ago, so the language is quite old. If you're merciful, you are tender-hearted, compassionate, kind and beneficent. You are inwardly affected with the infirmities, necessities, and miseries of your fellow creatures. We feel them as our own. With tender sympathy, endeavour as we have ability to relieve them in their physical need. But he goes on to say we also need to labour to do spiritual good, to enlighten the darkness of men's minds, heal the disorders of their souls, reclaim them from vice and misery, from every unholy and unhappy temper, from every sinful word and work. But we always manifest a readiness to forgive the faults of others. Why? Because we ourselves need and expect forgiveness from God. Now, if you can do all that, you'll be perfect. But at least let us try in a kindly, non-judgmental way, if possible. And the best thing about this is that if we ever need mercy, God will deal with us in the same way that we deal with our fellow believers. So it's a nice thought this morning, and our thoughts go out to all of you who are suffering from floods and other climate-related problems. And if we can help, please let us know. Thank you for watching this morning.